FBA is not a get rich quick scheme. In fact, most people who go at it on their own actually fail. And it's really not for the reasons that you might think. So today I'm going to be exposing the truth about why so many people lose money and then they give up on Amazon FBA. But more importantly than that, I'm actually going to show you how to avoid these mistakes so that you can actually build a profitable Amazon business just like I have and so many of my girls have over the last few years. But before we dive in, here's some quick background about me, who I am, and why you should even be taking my advice. So first of all, my name is Jacqueline. If you didn't already know, I just turned 29 years old. I'm an entrepreneur, and I have been selling on Amazon for the last couple of years now, for about 5 years. And I've been in your shoes. I was starting from scratch and just trying to figure it all out by myself. And trust me, I know that this thing isn't so simple. In fact, it is quite a headache if you are completely new to this. And anyways, I launched my first product after 8 months of research, by taking different programs, by watching YouTube videos. And to be honest, I feel like it took me far too long and I almost gave up. But I did end up seeing pretty good success with my first brand. And since then, I've launched several brands on Amazon. I have made millions of dollars since then. And now I help others just like you do the exact same thing with Amazon FBA. And I'm very passionate about this. But like I said, I know exactly how it is. If you're trying to learn just by only watching YouTube videos, you're gonna feel so overwhelmed with all the different information out there that you're hearing. And a lot of the information is pretty outdated, FYI. So if you've been scrolling through TikTok or watching Reels, you've probably seen countless people claiming Amazon FBA will make you rich overnight. You've probably heard this term that everyone uses, you're just one product away, or they'll say things like, you can make 6 figures in a month, they say. Now here's the truth, okay? Success on Amazon is actually very possible, and in most ways, they're actually right, okay? But it's not as simple nor as quick as they make it sound whatsoever. And that's me being real and honest with you guys. Most people who try FBA fail for 3 major reasons. The first one is that they choose the wrong product, okay? If anyone tells you that this step isn't vital, run and don't ever take advice from them, okay? And number 2, they don't try to create a premium brand. So their product ends up blending in with all the competition and it just does not stand out at all. And number 3, they don't have a launch strategy, which means that their product doesn't rank and no one ever sees their product and then they end up making 0 sales. And here's the thing that you have to know about all of this, okay? Once again, Amazon does work if you have the right knowledge and the right strategy. So you can most definitely make 6 figures in 1 month with one product, okay? You could literally be just one product away, like my member Elizabeth, who launched her first product and she went on to make $100,000 in less than 4 months. Now, I'm not saying everyone's doing this and makes that much money because it's not. She was one of the best testimonials I've ever had. And she had never sold anything on Amazon before and had no idea how it worked at all. So I'm sharing this for inspiration. And her very first product ended up selling out, and her biggest problem was that she was just trying to calculate how many units to reorder so she doesn't run out of inventory so fast. So trust me, it is very possible, but you need to have the right strategy in place, okay? It's just beyond silly to try and put all the pieces together yourself without the proper guidance. So I'm going to be breaking down each of these to make sure that you understand exactly what not to do. Now, the first and biggest mistake that people make is choosing the wrong product. I see this all the freaking time. People chase trends or the flashy viral products that they saw on TikTok, or they'll go ahead and pick something that's just so overly saturated just because they really love the product themselves. They see, maybe that fidget spinner, they're going viral or whatever it is. This is an example that fidget spinners are going viral back then. I'm just making a point, okay? And boom, they're having, 1,000 units of them get shipped over to Amazon directly from the factories in China to try to make it quick. And, they just, the whole point is that they're trying to make quick cash and it doesn't work that way, okay? But by the time they launch the product, the market is already overflooded. And then they're, stuck with inventory that they just cannot move or sell, whatever. So even though this is just an example that I used, I guarantee you hundreds of new sellers try to do this with the exact product when it first launched, for certain, okay? So please do not go chasing the viral products, okay? No matter what anyone says. Something I always tell my girls is that if you can sit there and just easily think of a product idea, it's probably not a good idea. Okay, that's just the easiest way to put it. And the same way that you can easily, would have thought about it, thousands of other people, thousands of other sellers have already thought of it. So don't choose a product simply because you like or love the product. Okay, use a software, check the data, and run the numbers to make sure it's actually going to be profitable. Real winning products solve a very specific problem, or they cater to a passionate niche that will sell regardless of market trends and virality. For example, a pet feeder that automatically dispenses food for your pet, that's a good example. Regardless of the viral videos and trends, pet owners will always need products like this, and they will always go on Amazon searching for them. Or, think about something for baby, Baby products are always essential. Parents are always going to need to purchase these products for their babies, and the demand will always remain high all year round. It's evergreen. Think about it. People are willing to spend money on products that make their lives easier and actually solve their problems. And that's really where the gold mine is. And here's my advice. You should always use tools like FBA It is a software to analyze demand, competition, and profitability before you ever invest your hard-earned money into any product, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and do you guys a favor. I'm gonna go ahead and link it down below in the description if you do wanna go ahead and check it out. So we actually also very recently, just added in there a AI chatbot that you can do the research with for you basically, and it'll make your life way easier. And yeah, it's just new, so it's exciting. So this is something I freaking wish I had when I first started. It would have made it so much more simpler. So yeah, you can literally go ahead and type in any prompt explaining exactly what you're looking for, how much revenue it should actually be generating, how many reviews the product should have, and basically any other requirements that you want for the product. And then you can actually let the bot show you all the products that match that right now live from Amazon's database. Like, technology nowadays is wild. So you should be using it to your advantage. So you want to look for products with consistent sales that meet the numbers that you're aiming for, but you want to have room for improvement. So just ask yourself, is there any way that I could actually launch this product, but make it appear better, or just make it, better quality overall? So that should be the goal with any product that you're launching. And that's really going to be your opportunity. If you heard that it's too late or that there aren't any good products left, well, all I have to say is that I have girls launching new products every single week, okay, since I started. Literally every week that just started Amazon, even now in 2025, okay? So I don't think that that statement could be true whatsoever in any reality whatsoever. Next up is branding, and this is where most people unknowingly fail, and they fail so terribly at it. They think that they can just slap a generic label, or worse, no label at all on a product, and then they'll just call it a day. But let me ask you this. Why the hell would someone choose your product over a dozen others on Amazon? Okay, that look exactly the same. Ask yourself, okay? If you go on Amazon right now and you search, let's say, for example, a pet feeder, like I mentioned earlier, you will see dozens of listings that look completely identical. Actually, you can go ahead and do it right after watching this, okay? Because I'm serious. And as soon as you scroll on page one, you might even go ahead and assume that half of them are from the exact same company, which they probably are. And those sellers just half-assed the entire listing, and they are missing out on so many sales by being just another listing. So you definitely don't want to half-ass this part of the process at all. You actually want to try with your listing, and please don't half-ass, okay? Then you're also gonna see a few products that, look way different, which have, logo and branding, and it's gonna make the product actually, stand out and appear better. And they can actually sell those products for a higher price, and it is the exact same product. Now, just go ahead and think about this for a second, okay? If you're actually gonna spend all of this time and effort into, launching a product on Amazon, why the hell would you try to just cut corners and end up being, just another option? Why are you going to half-ass it? Why? Okay, we don't do that around here. We're actually going to try and, make a living from this. We want this to be sustainable and long-term, so we're not going to cut corners. So my girls and I really focus on creating premium brands that dominate the whole market and price our products way higher than the competitors. So basically, it is the same product, but with way more value added. So branding is really how you are able to stand out. And it's really not just about, a logo or packaging. This is what a lot of people think. It's really about creating a story with your product and a a full experience. So for example, if you go on Amazon right now and you go ahead and type in digestive enzymes, you're going to see so many different options. And the reality of it is that inside the bottle, most of them are exactly the same. Okay, they are exactly the same product and they probably cost the same. It's going to cost them the exact same from multiple manufacturers. It's going to be priced very similar. But a few of them are making way more money than the rest. For example, this one right here is actually making over $1 million every single month. Okay, that is every single month. While many of the other ones are struggling to break past $20,000 in sales. And that is really crazy to see if you really think about it, because it all just comes down to branding. So branding really plays a huge part in all of this. So you really need to invest into premium packaging, great copy, of course, with a listing, and create a brand that resonates with your target audience. Because when you connect emotionally with your customers, you don't just sell a product, you are building a brand. So that is please, this is the most important thing that you should take away from all of this. Build a brand, okay? Now, number 3, a lot of people fail because they don't have a launch strategy. Okay, let's talk about this, because this is where, it's just sad, because they do everything and then they expect to get results, and it's because of this. They're like, I did everything, I did all the branding, but if you don't have a launch strategy, you're not going to succeed. And this is really where the magic happens, or as I like to say, where everything just falls apart for a lot of people. And I'm not even kidding when I say this. I have seen and heard it way too many times, and it makes me so shocked, because many new sellers might do everything else right. Like I said, they'll go ahead and pick the right product. They'll go ahead and create a really good listing. They'll make a nice brand and literally do everything else right. But then once their product actually arrives to Amazon, they sit back, they relax, and they just expect the sales to roll in. Spoiler alert, that is not how it works at all, okay? You cannot just sit back and wait for the sales to come in. They will definitely not, okay? They're not gonna come in. You will not make any sales. You will be so confused. Weeks will go by and you'll end up paying Amazon storage fees and telling all of your friends that FBA does not work, when the truth is, you just didn't do the work when you were so close to the finish line. So I'll go ahead and say it again. Just because your product arrives at Amazon and it is active, it does not mean that you will make sales, okay? Nobody is gonna see your product. Amazon is a search engine, okay? People aren't scrolling through videos like they are on TikTok and, randomly landing on your product, okay? No one goes to Amazon to just scroll and find random things, at least not me and anybody I know. So if your product isn't optimized and it doesn't rank on page 1, no one is gonna find your product. And if no one finds it, no one buys it. So just think about it for yourself right now. When is the last time, let's say you needed something, you opened up your Amazon app or your desktop and you went on page 17 to finally decide which tote bag you really wanted? Probably never. You already made your purchase in 30 seconds on page 1, and then you close the app or you close the laptop, and then you're back to scrolling on Instagram or TikTok, and that new seller who worked so hard to launch their tote bag has made no sales because they're still on page 17. Yeah, sorry, not sorry to all the coaches who preach testing out a product on Amazon. Yeah, sure. Go ahead and quickly launch a generic basic product to test and waste your time. That's how I feel about it. Sorry, not sorry. So what is the solution here? A solid launch strategy. And here's what I would do. So I would optimize my listing with the right keywords, a great title, high quality images to actually stand out. And now that your foundation is actually set up, you can actually prepare for your launch. So you can start running, Amazon PPC ads to get more visibility and actually drive traffic to your listing. You can aim to rank for the keywords that are the most relevant for your product by spying on your competition using the software. So the software literally helps you with all of it, which is why you need to get the software. So it will show you basically all the top keywords that your competition is actually ranking for. And on top of that, it's gonna show you how many sales they're making for each of those specific keywords. So you know what to actually aim for. And you wanna go ahead and find a way to actually get reviews pretty early on. So, if I just say what I want to say, I'll have a bunch of people actually coming at me saying that, oh, it breaks Amazon's code of conduct, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Let's just be honest here, okay? Technically, Amazon is not going to find out if you had your Facebook friend from 2012 who you met on a cruise when you were 15 years old and you never saw again, purchase your product and leave you a review. Okay, let's just be real now. But It's not happening. What I will say is it is very, very, very important that you do get 5-star reviews and that you get as many of them as quickly as you can. So do your own research, understand how Amazon's policies work, and then create your plan to get those reviews. Amazon has their own service that you can utilize. It's called Amazon Vine as well, which has its pros and cons. There are some other services out there that you can Google and you can find out more about as well that I won't discuss here in detail. But just make sure that you do get those reviews and that you rank for those right keywords. The goal is to, just gain momentum and signal to Amazon that your product is actually worth showing to more people. And this is really how you climb to page 1 and you actually stay there. So that should be the goal. So there is the actual truth exposed about Amazon FBA. Most people do fail at this because they don't know these 3 important things. So the importance of, choosing the right product, building a strong brand, having a launch strategy is like so crucial, okay? But now you know better. So if you've tried Amazon FBA in the past, or maybe you're thinking about starting, drop a comment below. I do want to hear your story. I'm curious. And if you are actually serious about building a successful Amazon business, make sure to follow me on all the other socials, which I'll go ahead and link below. And just remember, success on Amazon is not luck, okay? It isn't by luck. And it is not reserved for huge corporations or huge companies. You can literally be a 23-year-old girl, an 18-year-old girl from California who was all alone like myself, never started a business before, and actually created a $1 million brand on Amazon. And I know because I'm this girl and I've helped many girls do this. And, I actually went on to make several more brands, all from the comfort of my own home, from traveling the world. And yeah, I know that, you can make this happen for yourself as well if you really give it effort, and you can be on your way to the same success without making the same mistakes that, I made. And if you got any value from this video, go ahead and do me a favor, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on your notifications. I've got a lot more no bullshit content coming for you guys to actually help you reach your goals faster this year. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. But actually, before I forget, because I always forget, I do host free live trainings, actually breaking all of this down, like A through Z. And I do a Q&A at the end of every webinar. So if you are curious about that, go ahead and DM me the word FBA and you can join the next one. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one.